All right, let me ask from top of the list, Donald. Donald, the first question in the take-home test is, it says, identify the digit in the 10,000th place. Which number would be the 10,000th place? 10,000th place. Which one, Donald? Okay, as you see, the first digit here is 1 digit. All right, the next one is 10, and the next one is 100, and Donald says 2, so the next one would be 1,000, and as Donald says, the 10,000th then must be absolutely correct too. And the next one after that would be 100,000 and so on. Next question, Evelyn, find the following quotient, 0 divided by 3. What is 0 divided by 3, Evelyn? Would be 0, exactly. So if you have any number divided by 0, would be 0, obviously. A half of 0 is 0, a third of 0 is 0, and so on. The next one, we want to using the exponential notation to write this. In this case, we have 1, 5, so it would be 5 or 5 to the power of 1. And then we're going to count how many 3's we have. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 3's. So I can write this as 3 to the power of 4. So 3 to the power of 4 means we have 4 3's. That's all it means. And then we have 2 2's here, obviously. We have 1 2 here, 1 2 here. So it would be 2 to the power of 2. If you can follow this concept, please put a check mark next to your name, everyone, so we can move on with that. Okay, very good. The next question says evaluate, and then we have 4 times absolute value of minus 3 times 3. What is absolute value of minus 3 is equal to? When you have that sign, no, absolute value of minus 3. I don't want the final answer. I want to know what the absolute value of minus 3 is equal to. Okay, you said it's 3. So let me make sure we can follow this. So if I have absolute value of minus 3, that's equal to 3. What is absolute value of plus 3 is equal to? Okay. Also 3. So what that means is, if I have a number line, when we talk about absolute value of negative 3, means how far number negative 3 is away from 0. So absolute value corresponds to the distance of this number negative 3 to 0. Obviously it's 3 units. So as you see, when we counting the distance, we always would end up having a positive number. Now absolute value of plus 3 similarly would be same how far the number positive 3 is away from 0, and again would be 3 units. So absolute value corresponds to the distance of the number to 0. So in this case, we have 4 times, instead of absolute value of minus 3, I'm going to replace it with 3, and then I have 3. So when I multiply all these numbers together, 36. we're going to replace absolute value of minus 6 again similarly would be equal to again plus 6, as we talked about it earlier, and then plus 8. So this question also for Casey. Casey, what do you get for that? That would be equal to will be 6 plus 8, right? Which is equal to 14. Okay? Minus 6 minus 14. So you're adding integers here. When you add integers, then you have, let's take a look at the little lesson here. When I have 6 minus 6, when you subtract two integers, the rule is to change the subtraction to addition, and keep the first number as is, and change the second number to its opposite number. Opposite of minus 6 is plus 6. So that would be 6 plus 6, which is equal to 12. Now, you can also look at this as if you have 6 minus 6, and look at these two signs, negative and negative would be positive. That's another way to look at it. So it would be 6 and 6, so that would give you equal to 12. But really what we need to do is make sure we understand that every time you subtract integers, you have to change the subtraction to addition, and then change the second number into its opposite sign. Obviously, opposite of minus 6 is plus 6. Okay, if everybody follow this concept, can I see a check mark next to your name, please? So in this case, I can write this as positive, and this 2 also returns to positive. So really what I have here is 6 plus 6 plus 14. If I add these three numbers together, I get 12 plus 14, so I would get 26. Let's take a look at the next question here. All right, 10, Lamb, can you tell me how do you round this number here to nearest thousand? Okay, go ahead and type your answer. Remember the nearest thousands. This would be 1. That would be the 10th digit. That would be 100 digit, and that would be the 1000th digit. So we want to round this to the 1000th digit. So we care about the 1000th digit here. Okay? Okay, you're absolutely correct. We need to write this as 635 thousandths, because we need to know what's the number right next to thousandth digit. The number next to thousandth digit, which would be 100 digit, is 4. Since this number is less than 5, so we don't add anything to 5. If instead of 4 I had 5 or higher, then I would add 1 to the thousands digit, so this would become 634,000. Since the number next to the thousands digit, which is 4, is less than 5, so we don't add any number to the thousands digit, and we keep it as 635. And for the rest of the numbers, we have to replace it with 0. All right, next question. We want to see which one of these are larger. So to the left-hand side, we have -1 plus 3. Then we have -1 plus 3. Okay, again, you can look at it as if you owe $1 and you have $3 in your pocket. How much money do you have, Matthew? So you need to subtract these, right? You have to subtract 1 from 3. What do you get? If you have $3 and you owe $1, how much money do you have? 2, exactly. So over here, -1 plus 3 would be equal to 2. Okay. Now on the right-hand side, again, these are the integers. If you owe $4 and you owe $2, how much money you owe? So -4 minus 2. Okay, you put -2. That's not quite right. Evelyn, do you want to tell me what do you think? -4 minus, remember you're subtracting integers. Evelyn says -6, and that makes sense. That's correct. If you owe $4 and you owe $2, so you owe $6, so it would be -6. So -4. This is like if you change that subtraction to addition and keep the first number as -4, and now you have to change the second number to its opposite number. Same concept again. Opposite of 2 is -2. So you have -4 plus -2. So that would be equal to -6. -6 here. On the left-hand side, you have -6. So in order to see which one of these are larger, so which one is larger, 2 or -6? So I have to place the symbol such a way that the larger number would stay inside the symbol. So that's how you would show the symbol. Number 9, it says simplify, and we have this expression here. -3 plus absolute value of -5 over -2, and then we have plus absolute value of -5. Let's go ahead and change the values, replace -5, absolute value of -5, to a number without that absolute value sign. All right, we talked about that earlier. So let's see. Lucia, what would be absolute value of -5 is equal to? +5, exactly. So I'm going to replace these two values absolute value of -5 with +5. All right, at the top of the fraction here, Casey, can you tell me what is -3 plus plus 5 would be equal to? So it's like you have $5 and you owe $3, so that would be a total of 2. Very good. Plus 2. So it would be 2 over minus 2 plus 5. So 2 over minus 2. What is 2 over minus 2, Casey? Would be, well, not quite 1. We have plus 2 over minus 2. Okay, as Tin says, minus 1. Very good. Plus 2 over minus 2 is equal to minus 1. And then we have plus 5. And Casey, what would be the answer here? Minus 1 plus 5. Okay, if I owe $1 and I have $5, I have a total of how much? 4. Okay, very good. That's the correct answer. Now, if you can all follow this, can I see a check mark next to your name, please? Okay, we have a couple of questions. Now, I need to find out what the problem is, so let's break this to different steps. Let's call this step number 1. Step number 1 is to replace absolute value of minus 5 with its corresponding value plus 5. This question for Matthew and Filiberto. Do you follow the step number 1, that absolute value of minus 5 is equal to plus 5, first of all? Philly? Okay, thank you. Do you follow that? Okay, you put check mark next to your name. Okay, good. So how about, let's call it step number 2. Step number 2. Now, for those of you who put the X next to your name, do you follow how I got from this step to this step? Okay, Matthew, do you follow that? Put the, just type yes. Okay, I see that. Philly, you said you still don't follow that. All right. Let's concentrate on that one step then. So I have minus 3 plus 5 over minus 2. And that's what we have here. Minus 3 plus 5 over minus 2. Okay. Matthew, can you tell me what is minus 3 plus 5 is equal to? Again, these are adding integers. If I have $5 and you owe $3, so how much money do you have? 2. Okay. Okay, Philly, do you follow that also? Could type yes or no. Do you follow this would be equal to 2 then? Okay, good. So what I have here is 2 over minus 2. Okay, Matthew, question for you again. What is 2 over minus 2? Minus 1. Philly, do you follow that? Just put yes or no. Yes, okay. So you all get that would be equal to minus 1. So let's go back here. So you can follow up to this point then, right? So if you, Donald, you put the X next to your name now. Do you have a problem with the step number 2? Okay, that's step number 2. Looks like everybody okay with step number 1 so far. Step number 2, I want to make sure everybody okay, and let's see what Donald has to say. Matthew and Philly, if you follow step number 2, I want you to change your X to check mark for now. Matthew, do you follow that so far? If you do, you can put the check. If not, let me know what it is that you don't follow. I'm still waiting for Donald question. Matthew, if you have a question, go ahead and let me know what it is. Okay, Donald says, don't get it -1 answer. -1. I'm not quite sure what you're asking. You're talking about 2 over -2? Okay, Matthew, 2 over -2 is not equal to 1. It's -1. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Just simply divide. Okay, so if I have 2 over 2, let's look at 2 over 2 first. If I divide 2 into 2, what do I get? 1 times 2 is equal to 2, and the remainder is 0. So that would be equal to 1. Right? Do you follow that? Good. Now, if I have a minus with either of these, then the only thing would becomes -1. If I had -2 over 2, that would be equal to -1. If you multiply or divide odd numbers of negatives together, the result would be always a minus. If I had -2 over -2, because you have 2 negatives here, so this would be +1. But if you have 1 negative, when you multiply 2 numbers, if one of them is only negative, then the result would be always negative. If both are negative, the result would be positive. Okay, I see check mark next to everybody's name, so I'm assuming that everybody following this okay now then. So everybody okay with -1. So -1 plus 5 is equal to 4, and that was the last step then. Okay, good. Looks like everybody okay with that. Okay, that was number 9. Actually, it was 9A. So let's take a look at 9B now. 9B, we have number of integers need to be combined here. We have -10 -3 plus -7 -2 plus 3. There are 2 ways we can look at this. And let's go back to the little note I had earlier. Remember, one way would be to look at this when you subtract 2 integers. You change the subtraction to addition, and then you change the second number into its opposite number, and then you just simply add them. Or you can look at it as negative and negative would be positive, and from there you would change these 2 signs right in front of each other to single sign. Okay, I asked everyone previously, and everybody were okay with this concept. So I'm assuming we're still okay with this. So over here, I can look at this as this negative and negative, which turns to plus. this negative and positive, I can change it to minus. Negative and negative, I can change it to plus. And then I would have a single sign in front of each number. That's one way to combine these. Or we can look at this as changing a negative, changing the subtraction to addition, and change the sign of the second number into its opposite number. So opposite of minus 3 would be plus 3. This is already plus. Okay, here another one. Changing this subtraction to addition, and then we have to change the next number to its opposite number, plus 3. Or you can look at it this way, two at a time. So minus 10 plus 3, if you look at it this way, let's finish this. Let's go ahead and ask Matthew, what is minus 10 plus 3 would be? It's like, yeah, I owe $10 and I have $3. So how much money do I have? Okay, again, when I ask you a question, if you're not sure, you don't know how to answer them, quickly put X next to your name so I can move on. Okay, Donald, what do you think? Minus 10 plus 3. If you owe $10 and you have $3 in your pocket, how much money do you still owe? Negative 7. Okay, Matthew, do you follow that now? If you do, you can change your X to, okay, good. Now, can I see X to everyone's name if you follow, I mean a check mark next to everyone's name if you can follow this? All right. All right. Now, so I'll move on. You can do this two at a time, this way, from left to right. Okay, Evelyn, here I have minus 7 plus minus 7. It's like if you owe $7 and then you owe another $7, how much money do you owe altogether? Negative 14. So you see, when you have two or more negative numbers need to be added together, the result would be still minus, right? Just like checking, balancing your checkbook. All right, so you go from left to right again. You have minus 14 plus minus 2. Okay, here you owe $14, and then you owe $2 in addition to that. Philly, what do you think would be the answer? Negative 14 plus minus 2. Okay, Casey, you want to give me the answer? So Philly. Okay, Philly says negative 16. That's absolutely correct. Okay, Casey says you mean plus. Maybe I said it wrong. When I have minus 14 plus minus 2, that give me minus 16. Is that what you mean, Casey? Casey says plus 2. Okay, because I did not change this sign here. This sign, did I mess up here? Yeah, I did. So here, originally, let's go back. Originally, this was minus. I changed it to the plus, and I change the sign -2 to +2, in case you're absolutely correct. And somehow we got this to minus. This should be plus, right? We don't want to change this all of a sudden. Casey, you're absolutely correct. That was my mistake to put -2 here, and that is not correct. So let's go back and fix that. Very good. So no, I don't have to start from over again. The only thing here was wrong. This was originally minus subtraction. We change the subtraction to addition. And then when we do that, we have to change the second number to its opposite number. -2 becomes +2. And this positive should stay positive throughout the next step. And my mistake was I somehow put a minus there by mistake there. So everybody can see that now. So -14 plus +2. So Casey, you're saying is -11. Is that what you're saying? No, you're talking about the final answer. So let's move on to what is -14 plus +2. Okay, Casey, that would be for you. What is -14 plus +2? If you owe $14 and you have $2, what do you have? You said -12. Absolutely correct. And then we have +3. So Casey, let's continue with you. -12 plus 3. What is minus? You owe $12. And then you have $3. So it means you owe $9 exactly. You're -9. Okay. Now, that's the correct answer right there, -9. I'm gonna make sure with you okay with all the steps so far. Can I see a check mark next to your name if you all can follow how I got -9 here? If not, we'll go over steps again. Okay. And Lam, you're okay. Good. Now, the one I showed you earlier, this was kind of like a shortcut. So you don't have to deal with this two at a time and make a mistake like I did earlier. So if I look at the same problem here, I'm going to write it again. Let's take a look at the same question. -10 -3 plus -7 -2 plus 3. Now, instead of changing subtraction to addition and change the second number to its opposite number, I can look at this and say negative and negative would be positive. This way I would have only one sign in front of each number. Positive and negative would be negative. Negative and negative would be positive. And then here's already positive. So in this case, if I go from left to right, I have -10 plus 3, so it would be -7. And then I have -7 would be -14. Then you have -14 plus 2 would be -12. And then I have -12 plus 3 would be go to 9. -9. Okay, that's another way to look at this. Okay? All right. Let's go back and see who is the next. Question. Well, we go to number 10 now. Number 10 for part A. Let's take a look at that. We have a few more minutes left. Let's take a look at number 10. Part A. Here we have minus 5 squared times 9 minus 17 squared divided by minus 10 squared. Okay, let's go ahead and from the top of the list, Matthew, can you tell me what is minus 5 squared is equal to? Okay, Donald, what do you think it is? Minus 5 squared. Okay, minus 5 to the power of 2 means you take minus 5 and you multiply by itself twice. By itself 2 times. So minus 5 times minus 5 is equal to plus 25. Okay, if I had plus 5 squared, this would be 5 times 5. If everybody understand this concept, I want to see a check mark next to your name, please. Okay, Matthew, do you follow that now? Donald, do you follow that? Okay, so I'm going to replace this with plus 25, which is 25. The next step is to find out what is 9 minus 17 is. What is 9 minus 17? Matthew, can you tell me what 9 minus 17 is? So you have $9 and you owe $17. You have to subtract 9 from 17 and the answer would be minus something. Do you want to try that, Matthew? Okay, you mean minus 8, right? Because the larger number 17 is minus. You really need to review adding and subtracting integers, Matthew. View those lectures, please. So 9 minus 17 would be minus 8. And then you have square here again. Okay, let's move on. Evelyn, minus 10 square. So what is that equal to? Minus 10 square would be minus 10 times minus 10, which is equal to plus 100. Very good. So we have 25 here, and here we have minus 8 square. Okay, Philly, can you tell me what's minus 8 square is? Minus 8 times minus 8, right? 6 plus 64, very good. So when you square something, it doesn't matter what you have inside the parentheses. If it's positive or negative, the final answer will be positive. Divided by 100. So we go from left to right. Remember the order of operation. You have 25 times 64. Again, for this class, we cannot use calculator. Make sure you do everything by hand. Okay. Garcia, can you tell me what this 25 times 64 is? Very good. 1600. Divide that by 100. Casey. So what is 1600 divided by 100? Casey. 16. Very good. All right. It's 10 o'clock now. We managed to do first 9 problems in the take-home test, and we did part of 10. And you need to make sure to copy the entire take-home test number 1 and start working them out, but you need to go over the lecture notes for chapters 1 and 2 first, and then do the online homework, online test, and then look at these and compare your answer with the keys. I would continue with the solutions next time.